right? The kind of deal readers are getting in Sri Lanka. It's a little bit like you have to wear that moose shirt because the moose shirt is what's in the shop, right? It's the book version of that.
Yeah.
Right?
See, you were talking about the Sinhala industry and the English industry, and there's a huge gap, yes, in Sri Lanka.
In terms of
The size of the industry,
Yeah,
the Sinhala
yes.
publishing and the English. The difference, is it due to the readership?
how many do you think are habitual English users in Sri Lanka? Habitual English users. So let's say, for the sake of the argument, let's say 5% of the population. That's still a high number. Has to be less than that, right? Habitual. I'm not talking about people who write official letters in English, the email in English, not for functional
English as the
purposes.
main language for communication.
Dream in English, right?
Okay.
Have sex in English.
Think in English.
Yeah, have sex in English, right? Very small number, probably 5% is still a big number. Out of that small number, how many reads in English? Things English, Sri Lankan writers write. Has to be it's like nickels, right? Small number.
Because reading is not, it's not for everyone, is it?
It's not for everyone, and even if you read, if you have to choose between, let's say, Vihanga Perera and Arthur Conan Doyle or something, so compared to that, I feel the Sinhala readership is much more expansive. I'm not necessarily commenting on quality, okay?
Okay.
Literacy, literary appreciation, quality of the stuff they read. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about the market per se,
Yeah.
right? Translations has a huge market, other languages to Sinhala.
But you're not a fan of it, is it? You're not a fan of translation. You think in a poem
No, I mean,
or something.
look. There are good translations. Depends on the translation. Strictly speaking, of Sinhala translations of other works,
Sinhala to
others to Sinhala.
Okay.
Strictly speaking, in my experience, not that great. There have been some great translators. There are some people whom you follow because it's that person translating. But especially in this time and age of mass publication,
Right.
where you have a book published in some obscure African country, translated in a Sri Lankan bookshop in 2 weeks,
I
compromise.
didn't follow that.
Whatever book comes out this week, in another month, month and a half, it's in Sri Lanka, in Singapore.
Okay. Is that genuine?
I'm like exaggerating for the effect,
Okay.
but the turnover time is very fast.
Could they be sued?
I don't know.
No, because I used to look at this, there are people there are big,
Yeah.
now, as you know, like this,
Any big
love in
novel.
the time of cholera and all that.
I would like to believe
How
that
do they get the
I would
license?
like to believe they go through proper channels.
Yeah.
But even if not, I mean, would anyone care?
See, so do you think the Sinhala readership is getting bigger while the English readership is getting shrinking?
That I don't know. I really don't know. But
Okay.
one thing I know is that Sri Lanka, especially after 2022, very few English books available after the economic meltdown.
Not a surprise, yeah.
Yeah, after the economic meltdown, and books are very costly suddenly, right? So I don't know why that has to be the case, because there has to be a way of. There are regional markets which have books at a lesser price. Even books coming from there is fairly costly,
Okay.
right? And also,
even books coming from India.
yeah, it's come to a point where people are forced to buy what is in the market. Good literature is not available for Sri Lankans. Good literature, classics are not available. Good literature that actually kind of nourishes your range.
Okay.
Your depth is not there. So you have like very random, obscure, middle-brow, popular titles. I don't know whether people really read these things, but if they are very sad, then, right, the kind of deal readers are getting in Sri Lanka. It's a little bit like you have to wear that moose shirt because the moose shirt is what's in the shop, right? It's the book version of that,
Yeah.
right?